Success leaves clues, and nature is one of the greatest teachers. Among all birds, the eagle stands alone, not because it was given special privileges, but because it lives by uncommon principles. The eagle does not survive by chance, it succeeds by design. Its life teaches us that greatness is not accidental, it is intentional. The first principle of the eagle is vision. The eagle sees farther than any other bird. While others focus on what is near, the eagle locks its sight on what is distant. Success always begins with vision. People fail not because they lack resources, but because they lack clarity. When vision is absent, energy is wasted. When vision is present, even limited strength becomes powerful. Vision gives direction, and direction produces discipline. The second principle is flight altitude. Eagles do not fly low with common birds. They soar above storms instead of hiding from them. Most people try to escape pressure, but pressure is not the enemy, it is the elevator. Storms were never meant to stop you. They were designed to lift you higher. The eagle understands that success requires elevation, not association with low environments. The third principle is solitude. Eagles fly alone. This does not mean isolation, it means selectivity. Success demands seasons where distraction is reduced and focus is sharpened. Everyone cannot travel with you into your future. Some people are assigned to your past, not your destiny. The eagle teaches us that loneliness is sometimes the price of leadership, but it is never the cost of purpose. The fourth principle is renewal. When the eagle reaches maturity, it goes through a painful process of renewal, breaking old habits, shedding worn-out parts, and embracing discomfort for long-term survival. Growth requires change, and change often requires pain. Many people want new results while holding on to old behaviors. Renewal is not optional for success. It is essential. The fifth principle is precision. When the eagle hunts, it does not rush. It observes, waits, and strikes with accuracy. Success is not about movement, it is about correct movement. Being busy is not the same as being effective. Precision means knowing when to act, where to act, and why you act. Discipline is power under control. The sixth principle is training the next generation. Eagles do not overprotect their young. They push them out of comfort so they can learn to fly. True success is not proven by how long you can hold power, but by how well you can reproduce strength in others. Leadership is incomplete if it ends with you. The seventh principle is identity awareness. The eagle never tries to imitate another bird. It does not compete with chickens because it knows it was not designed to scratch the ground. Identity confusion is one of the greatest enemies of success. When you know who you are, competition disappears, comparison dies, and confidence is restored. The eagle succeeds because it lives according to its design. And the same law applies to you. When you understand your purpose, align your environment, renew your mindset, and commit to growth, success becomes inevitable. You were not created to survive, you were created to soar. Vision precedes victory. Every achievement that ever altered history began first as an unseen picture in the mind of someone who refused to think small. Before anything is built with hands, it is constructed in imagination. Victory does not begin on the battlefield, in the marketplace, or on a stage. It begins in perception. People do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lack clarity. When vision is absent, effort becomes scattered, energy is misused, and progress becomes accidental instead of intentional. Vision is the ability to see beyond current conditions. It is not denial of reality, it is mastery over it. Those who live without vision are controlled by what they see today. Those with vision are governed by what they know is coming. Vision allows you to function in present limitation while preparing for future expansion. It gives you permission to endure discomfort without losing direction. When vision is clear, temporary pain loses its power to discourage. Victory always submits to vision because direction determines destination. You cannot arrive at a future you cannot see. Motion without direction only produces exhaustion. Many people are busy, active, and involved, yet they remain stagnant because their movement is not aligned with a clear picture of where they are going. Vision organizes effort. It prioritizes time, filters decisions, and disciplines behavior. When vision governs your life, distractions automatically lose appeal. Vision also creates internal authority. It stabilizes you when opinions are loud and criticism is constant. When you know where you are going, you stop needing validation from those who cannot see what you see. Vision produces conviction, and conviction silences insecurity. People who lack vision borrow confidence from applause, but those with vision generate confidence from purpose. That inner certainty becomes the foundation of sustainable success. Another power of vision is resilience. Vision does not remove obstacles, it gives meaning to them. Every delay, rejection, and setback becomes part of the process rather than a signal to quit. Without vision, obstacles feel personal. With vision, obstacles feel instructional. Vision reframes hardship into training. It allows you to interpret struggle as preparation instead of punishment. This is why people with vision recover faster. They understand that resistance often confirms importance. Vision also demands discipline. It exposes habits that do not serve the future and confronts comfort that threatens growth. A person with vision cannot remain casual about their time, environment, or associations. Vision forces you to say no to good things in order to protect great things. It brings focus, and focus always costs something. But the cost of discipline is always cheaper than the cost of regret. Victory follows vision because vision activates responsibility. Once you can see what you are capable of becoming, excuses lose credibility. Vision awakens accountability. It pushes you to prepare for opportunities before they arrive. Preparation is the silent evidence of belief. Those who see the future act differently in the present. They train when others relax, learn when others complain, and build when others wait. Vision is also contagious. It attracts resources, people, and opportunities that align with it. Not because vision is loud, but because clarity is compelling. People trust those who know where they are going. Vision gives language to leadership and substance to influence. When vision is articulated with integrity, it mobilizes cooperation without manipulation. In the end, victory is not a surprise, it is an arrival. It is the visible confirmation of an invisible commitment. Long before others celebrate the outcome, the visionary has already accepted the responsibility. Victory does not create vision, vision creates victory. And when vision is honored, protected, and pursued, success becomes not a possibility, but a consequence. Altitude determines authority. In every realm of life, position influences perception, and perception governs power. Authority is not primarily about control over others. It is first about control over self, environment, and perspective. Those who remain at low levels of thinking, behavior, and environment will always struggle to lead effectively. Elevation is not a luxury, it is a requirement for lasting influence. Altitude begins in the mind. Before a person rises in position, they must rise in perspective. Low altitude thinking is reactive, emotional, and short-sighted. High altitude thinking is intentional, disciplined, and future-focused. When your thinking rises, your decisions become clearer and your responses more measured. Authority is weakened when emotions dictate actions, but it is strengthened when perspective governs behavior. Those who think higher respond differently to pressure because they see beyond the moment. Higher altitude also provides clarity during storms. At lower levels, storms feel overwhelming because they block vision and create panic. But at higher levels, storms become tools. Elevation changes the relationship with adversity. Instead of fighting resistance, you rise above it. Pressure that crushes others becomes propulsion for those who understand altitude. Authority grows when you demonstrate calm in chaos, because composure is evidence of mastery. Environment plays a critical role in altitude. Where you position yourself determines what influences you. Remaining in spaces filled with complaint, fear, and limitation will eventually lower your authority no matter your talent. Elevation requires intentional separation from environments that dilute purpose. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. Authority is sustained by atmosphere, and atmosphere is shaped by association. If you want to lead, you must choose spaces that sharpen vision, not dull it. Altitude also affects how others perceive and respond to you. People naturally submit to clarity, consistency, and confidence. These qualities are the result of elevation. When you operate from a higher level of understanding, you speak with weight, not noise. Authority is not loud, it is stable. Those at higher altitude do not rush to prove themselves. Their posture alone communicates command. Stability is a language that influence understands. Another aspect of altitude is restraint. Those with true authority do not react to every provocation. Reaction is a sign of low elevation. High altitude leadership is marked by patience, timing, and self-control. When you can pause while others panic, you demonstrate dominance over the situation. Authority increases when people realize that circumstances do not control your behavior. Elevation also requires discipline and sacrifice. You cannot rise without leaving something behind. Comfort, familiarity, and convenience often anchor people to lower levels. Authority demands responsibility, and responsibility demands growth. Every level requires a new version of you. Those unwilling to change cannot sustain authority, because influence expands only where capacity grows. Altitude determines authority, because elevation expands vision, strengthens composure, and increases responsibility. Authority is not taken, it is recognized. It is the natural response to someone who sees farther, stands firmer, and moves with purpose. When you rise above fear, distraction, and emotional chaos, authority follows you naturally. Elevation does not just change where you stand, it changes how you are heard, trusted, and followed. Purpose demands separation. Every meaningful assignment in life requires distance from anything that dilutes clarity, weakens conviction, or distracts from direction. Separation is not rejection of people, it is protection of purpose. Many misunderstand separation and label it pride or arrogance, but in truth it is responsibility. You cannot carry a great vision while remaining entangled in environments that contradict it. Purpose is fragile in its early stages, and it must be guarded with intention. Separation begins internally before it becomes visible externally. It starts with a decision to think differently, to value the future over familiarity. Many people remain trapped not because they are incapable, but because they are emotionally attached to places, habits, and relationships that no longer align with who they are becoming. Purpose exposes misalignment. Once you see what you are meant to do, you cannot unsee what no longer fits. Growth creates tension, and separation is how that tension is resolved. Every level of purpose requires a new circle. Not everyone can interpret your silence, your discipline, or your focus. Some people only understand the version of you that benefits their comfort. When you begin to change, resistance often comes from those closest to you. This is not because they hate you, but because your growth confronts their stagnation. Purpose demands separation because destiny requires clarity, and clarity often requires distance. Separation is also a test of loyalty to assignment. Many abandon purpose not because it is difficult, but because it is lonely. The fear of being misunderstood keeps people bound to environments that no longer nourish them. But comfort can be more dangerous than opposition. Opposition sharpens purpose. Comfort dulls it. When everything around you requires no growth, your potential slowly suffocates. Purpose demands separation to preserve momentum. Another reason separation is necessary is focus. Purpose cannot compete with distraction. You cannot build something significant while constantly explaining yourself to those who are not invested in your future. Separation reduces noise. It simplifies decisions. It creates space for preparation. Often, the most productive seasons are the quietest ones. What looks like withdrawal is often construction. Separation also refines identity. When familiar voices are removed, you begin to hear your own. Purpose is discovered in solitude because solitude forces honesty. In separation, Excuses fade and responsibility rises. You can no longer blame environment or approval for lack of progress. Separation places ownership back where it belongs on you. This is why growth accelerates when distractions are minimized. Purpose does not isolate permanently, it separates strategically. Not everyone is removed forever, but everyone is not allowed access at every stage. Access must match assignment. Some people are meant to support, others to observe, and some to be released. Understanding this prevents bitterness. Separation is not punishment, it is positioning. In the end, purpose demands separation because destiny requires alignment. You cannot rise while anchored to what was. Separation is the bridge between intention and fulfillment. It is the evidence that you value your calling more than your comfort. When separation is embraced with humility and discipline, purpose is protected, growth is accelerated, and the future becomes inevitable. Growth requires renewal. Nothing that continues to grow remains the same. Expansion demands change, and change demands the willingness to release what once worked but no longer serves the future. Many people desire progress without transformation, but true growth is not additive, it is regenerative. Renewal is the process by which strength is restored, vision is sharpened, and capacity is expanded. Without renewal, progress eventually plateaus, and potential begins to decay. Renewal begins with awareness. It requires the courage to acknowledge that yesterday's success can become today's limitation. What once produced results can, if clung to too long, prevent advancement. Comfort with familiarity often disguises itself as loyalty, but growth exposes it as fear. Renewal confronts the illusion that consistency means repetition. True consistency is not doing the same things, it is remaining committed to the same purpose while evolving methods. Every season of growth demands internal renovation. Mindsets must be upgraded, habits refined, and priorities realigned. Carrying outdated beliefs into new levels creates internal conflict. Many people reach opportunities they are not prepared to sustain because they refuse renewal earlier. Renewal prepares the inner life for outer expansion. Capacity always precedes responsibility, and renewal is how capacity is rebuilt. Renewal is rarely convenient. It often involves discomfort, loss, and temporary instability. Old identities must be questioned, routines disrupted, and attachments released. This discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is evidence of transition. Growth stretches the structure, and renewal strengthens it. Those who resist discomfort remain fragile. Those who embrace renewal become resilient. Another essential aspect of renewal is humility. Renewal requires admitting that improvement is possible. Pride resists renewal because it equates change with weakness. But wisdom understands that renewal is maintenance, not defeat. Just as systems require updates to function efficiently, people require renewal to remain effective. Neglecting renewal leads to exhaustion, cynicism, and decline. Renewal also restores clarity. Over time, responsibilities accumulate and priorities blur. Renewal simplifies. It recenters focus and reconnects effort to intention. Many lose momentum, not because they are incapable, but because they are cluttered. Renewal removes excess and restores alignment. It replaces urgency with intention and activity with purpose. Growth demands renewal because expansion without reinforcement leads to collapse. Increased influence without renewed character produces instability. Greater opportunity without renewed discipline creates vulnerability. Renewal ensures that growth is sustainable. It protects against burnout by restoring strength rather than merely demanding endurance. Renewal is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. Those who continue to grow commit to continual evaluation and adjustment. They do not wait for crisis to change. They renew before breakdown occurs. This proactive renewal separates those who sustain success from those who experience it briefly. In the end, growth requires renewal because life is dynamic, not static. To grow is to change, and to change wisely is to renew. When renewal is embraced, growth becomes durable, purpose remains intact, and progress continues without compromise. Identity protects destiny. When a person knows who they are, they become difficult to derail. Confusion is one of the greatest threats to purpose because uncertainty about identity leads to compromise in direction. Destiny is not lost in one dramatic moment. It is slowly eroded through small decisions made without clarity of self. Identity acts as a compass. It does not remove challenges, but it keeps movement aligned when pressure increases. Identity is established before assignment. Long before a person steps into influence or responsibility, their sense of self determines how they will carry it. Those who define themselves by titles, applause, or comparison remain vulnerable to instability. When external validation becomes the source of identity, direction shifts with opinion. Identity rooted in purpose remains stable regardless of circumstance. This stability is what protects destiny from distraction. Without identity, imitation becomes temptation. Many abandon their own path because they admire someone else's success. Comparison creates confusion, and confusion weakens commitment. Destiny is specific. It cannot be fulfilled by copying another's journey. When identity is unclear, people pursue opportunities that look successful but are misaligned. Identity protects destiny by filtering options. Not every open door is assigned to you. Identity also governs boundaries. When you know who you are, you know what you can accept and what you must refuse. Many derail their future not through failure, but through overextension. Saying yes to everything is often a sign of identity insecurity. Clear identity produces confident restraint. Boundaries are not walls, they are guides. They preserve energy for what truly matters. Pressure tests identity. Under stress, people default to who they believe they are. If identity is weak, pressure produces reaction. If identity is strong, pressure produces precision. This is why some people lose integrity when challenged. They were never anchored internally. Identity protects destiny by anchoring behavior during adversity. It keeps values intact when convenience is tempting. Another role of identity is endurance. Destiny often requires long preparation and delayed recognition. Without identity, waiting becomes unbearable. People rush outcomes because they are trying to prove something. Identity frees you from the need to perform for approval. When you are secure in who you are, timing becomes tolerable. You understand that preparation is not punishment, it is protection. Identity also shapes relationships. Those who lack identity are easily influenced by dominant personalities. They bend to fit environments rather than shaping them. Destiny cannot be fulfilled through dependence on approval. Identity gives independence of thought while maintaining respect for others. It allows collaboration without surrendering direction. Identity protects destiny because it creates consistency. Consistency builds trust, and trust creates opportunity. When people know what you stand for, your presence becomes predictable in the best way. Predictability in values, not behavior, is the foundation of leadership. Identity ensures that success does not distort character and that influence does not corrupt purpose. In the end, destiny is not guarded by talent alone, but by clarity of self. Identity is the silent guardian of the future. When identity is established, destiny is defended. When identity is neglected, destiny becomes vulnerable. Know who you are, and your future will remain intact no matter how strong the pressure becomes.